Ooh, it looks like the connection is not at a 100% right now. If that's the case, I may not complete this live as intended. So I guess we'll just freestyle it. And that's life in a nutshell, right? It's a freestyle. So, right now, in the moment, unrelated to the topics I'm going to speak about, I am trying to get a grasp on this TikTok ban. I always get very reluctant to jump on and support anything when that word is used. However, I have such a bias against TikTok as it is. But that, lo and behold, is probably going to be an entire topic in and of itself. Today was interesting. Today, a customer, a buddy of mine, he came in and he told me, I mentioned, oh, Trump got indicted, huh? And then I saw earlier, if the headlines are to be believed, by at least the outlets that I check out, apparently he's facing. Hey, Cindy D, my son's life mattered. It's always it's just refreshing, It's like when you walk by and you smell that warm apple pie on summer or something. Your nostalgia. Okay, that was probably awkward. All right. So context, real quick. Shabbat shalom and preemptive hellos, because I want to get right into this one. I left work a little early, not because of this, but I'm confused, and I wanted to, if anything, I wanted to learn and watch whatever this is with you guys, with whomever chooses to be here, so I can take it in real time. So I guess to the point, a customer and friend came in today, and he told me after I mentioned Trump's indictment, he's like, "Oh, oh, I love you back, Cindy." He's like, "Yeah, man, Trump is he's stirring it up too much, man. He's going too far." I was shocked knowing this guy. This is a Cuban man who's worked for the post office the almost the entirety of his life. So this is also somebody I've watched go into a couple of debates with other customers and almost lose his entire sanity over defending Trump. And suddenly he came in today to tell me he's not voting for him. Why? Well, I'll show you. Apparently, I have not seen anything uh, in this speech. I haven't even seen the speech. He just told me, what is it? Can I remember this appropriately? He said Trump said something about the judge, that whatever it is he said in this speech, that's 20 minutes or so. We'll see how long I can last. And then there's, I don't know if you guys are aware, and I hope it's more widespread, because I need to understand. Because as I understand it, let me check briefly so you guys can see. A prominent Russian blogger, unless I'm really, really misunderstanding, or I'm just fully advertising that I am misinformed and stupid, and I'll have to take the L. When you hear St. Petersburg, I really am reluctant. I just need to know, and I need before I say it. Some blogger was taken out for being what, pro Russia in the conflict. Oh boy, that's something that will take the monetization away. No risk, no reward. So, time to just find out. I skipped the patriotic music. I want to just get to the getting. So let's get. Oh, bear with me. Welcome, those of you in the background. Make yourselves comfortable. Hold on. I'm wondering, like, before this begins, Cindy, anybody, are you aware of something he may have said that made you stop supporting him? Because once again, I don't need to paint the portrait of the individual that told me whatever Trump said in this specific speech was enough to say he's no longer voting for him. So I'm intrigued, more than intrigued. And I made sure to watch this live. See, this is good to see. This right here, immediately, it's refreshing because we have a bunch of
Thank you very
people
much, everybody. And we have to save our.
that are patriotic. When I watch Democrats in these committees and hearings, I don't ever feel that. So this is refreshing in the beginning. Let me dive in.
Our country. God bless you all. God bless you all.
Ooh, yeah.
And I never thought anything like this could happen in
Indictment.
America. Never thought it could happen.
You ain't the
The
only
only
one.
crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. From the beginning, the Democrats spied on my campaign. Remember that?
Yep. They admitted it.
They attacked me with an onslaught of fraudulent investigations. Russia, Russia, Russia.
Oh, Cindy, if you're adding clarification, he said nothing about the judge that wasn't true. You don't even have to dig too far to find out all the criminal. Okay, interesting. So there's legitimacy to the claim against him. Because I'm gonna have a chat with the individual who gave me this information that went 100%, MAGA to no, can't do it anymore. He sees too much.
Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. Impeachment hoax number one. Impeachment hoax number two. The illegal and unconstitutional raid on Mar-a-Lago right here.
Is the audio
They're
okay?
lying
Just give me some sort of confirmation if you can hear okay. Just sounds so low from here.
to the FISA courts. The FBI and DOJ relentlessly
F the
pursuing
FBI.
Republicans. The unconstitutional changes to election laws by not getting approvals from state legislators. The millions of votes illegally stuffed into ballot boxes and all caught on government cameras. And just recently, the FBI and DOJ in collusion.
He's the only candidate. He's the only one talking about everything we caught on camera for the ballots for voting in general. So okay, so far really off early. I'm agreeing with the things he's pointing out.
With Twitter and Facebook in order not to say anything bad about the Hunter Biden laptop from hell, which exposes the Biden family as criminals and which, according to the pollsters, would have made a 17-point difference
Scar.
in the election
What?
result.
Hold on. Okay, not to add any curiosity or any or hey, there you go. See, something's been strange with YouTube with me since I did the Hillary video last night. I couldn't find the video, and it gave the image that it was removed when I was searching for it. And then when I was trying to access my own channel as the channel owner, it kept saying "oops" and giving me the essentially an image that you would only get if YouTube was down or if you were locked out or something. So just documenting that was weird, and maybe not monetizing that specific video was wise. I don't know, just that was strange. Talking about censorship right now at the forefront, and YouTube, I'm bringing it to you as much as possible. I will be showing anybody that wants to see where you guys are blocking me on what. I want to understand your algorithm. I want to understand the justification and everything that goes into your thinking, especially now that we have hearings that are active where I didn't know about the journalist who is heavily attacked and scrutinized by Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was in charge of being corrupt and was actually fired from being the DNC chair in 2016, attacking this journalist for uncovering Twitter posts that Elon Musk handed over and said, look, this is what was being censored. And it's not a good look. I saved that, but that's for another time. Sorry.
And we needed a lot less than that, like about 16.9. It would have been in our favor, not my favor, our favor, because our country is going to hell.
Audio's good. What's going on? What the hell is this? Okay, this is a... What happened? This is live still. My connection is fine. This is a part of the video. What is this? What is this? Video alarm detected? Okay, hold on. Apparently, I can skip whatever the hell this is. What happened in these moments that are recorded? If you want to go to CNBC Live or You have to wait through this. What did they just cover? Technical difficulties. What the? Okay, very convenient. All right, and now we're oddly in the crowd. He was just talking about, what was he just talking about in that very moment? He's still talking, and my audio's fine. He was talking about how he almost had it. Was he referring to the election? Why is this muted? Is this muted across the board? Okay.
Is more than any.
Why is it muted right here? Is that I need to check other sources, because this is always, I don't know, weird. Lips are moving, but okay. So CNBC.
If you look
Really dropped the ball in that. Okay, I need to mark that timestamp. 7:56 is where the audio starts, and I can work my way backward to just hear what the hell he was talking about. What's up? What they blacked out? What the hell did they black out though? What's up, White Dragon? You know what? Curiosity's getting the better of me. Let me see if I can find another source super fast. Semi apologies, but I think you guys would understand, especially with the battle that I think you and we all have agreed to take on here. All right, Trump speech, which is fighting censorship, which is yesterday, the 4/4, do the whole shebang here, full. I want the, damn it, I don't understand. Okay, I don't want clips and snippets. I want the entirety of the speech that I have available, but I want one without a freaking missing portion. Okay, the one I have is like a half hour, 22 hours. Okay, you see these CCs? I avoid those like the plague. If you're monetized, you will get a full-on copyright strike. What the? Okay, this is not over. For the sake, I'm keeping this real nearby because I have to look into that. Isn't that strange? I mean, did anybody else experience that? Did anybody else see it live? Did anybody else have that same issue? Let me go right here. Where did it start? What did he say right before that started? Look at all this blackout time. Okay. If I'm making a big deal about this and it's recorded elsewhere, please inform me. Not the little clips there in the corner. Okay, here we're at 5:12.
Result.
Audio's low.
We needed a lot less than that, like about 16.9.
Nick. Okay, you watched it live on Rumble, Nick. Was there any, Nick? If you don't mind, could you let me know if you recall any sort of blip, blackout, anything like that, just as a matter of record, and so I know for clarity, so I don't have to go on like a little wild goose chase. So feel free to. He is talking about something that YT doesn't like, and is it what I think about? I'm gonna type it. Just give me a Y or an N here. Is that what he was talking about? The entire reason J6 happened? Curious. No kidding, man. Are you kidding me? Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm taking this in. What a blatant. Let me watch this.
Because our country is going to hell.
Artistry. Look at that. Are they going out of their way to make it look like this is some sort of technical issue? I don't remember the last time I've seen a technical issue broadcast like this. So we got a viewer in here confirming that it played through just fine. He watched it on Rumble, which is as of the 15th of this month is when I will be syncing the channel with my Rumble account. Look at all of this airtime that's gone right after he mentioned the results of the election, and that should no longer be taboo to talk about. That's why we have hearings. I hope YouTube, you're on notice. Don't take it from me. Take it from all of us, we the people. I did not expect to have this odd little beginning. This goes on for the entire time, and then right when he's done with the entirety of the topic, oh, look, perfect. Video alarm detected. What, an alarm just in case he talks about the I don't want to be a hyperbolic, man. I don't mean to make a mountain out of a, what is it, a molehill, anthill. I don't. What a. I'm just perplexed, or am I not? Like, is this just to be expected? What a shame. I'm gonna find that footage. All right, now they let him back on. He's still talking. Visuals back. Muted. This is what they posted. They didn't have multiple cameras, multiple audio. This is what they go with. I'm clipping this into a short. I'm going to tell people, please find whatever he was saying on every resource. Look at what the mainstream does. Look at that. Chop him right at the, block the voice.
If you look in
And in the meantime, he's being indicted and censored at the same time.
Democrat-run cities, numbers the likes of which we have never seen before. The open threats by various countries of the use of nuclear weapons.
Thank you.
Something never mentioned or discussed by outside nations during the Trump administration, and which could very well lead under the Biden administration's leadership to an all-out nuclear World War III can happen.
Again, for clarification, I have not watched this speech. A customer of mine told me to watch this, and he told me whatever he says about the judge that's covering the case, the indictment, whatever Trump said in this speech made him stop supporting him. And I've known the man to be a staunch supporter, and that's why we're watching this in real time. So let's continue.
We're not very far away from it, believe it or not. An economy that has been crippled by the biggest inflation we have seen in more than 60 years, and a military that I used to defeat.
It is a very strange angle. Like, it just looks like the media that's there, as it's operating, let's give to them the grain of salt that there was some sort of issue. Whatever they've chosen to go with, to run with, this is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. We were in the middle of the audience for a moment there.
ISIS in 4 weeks. They said it would take 4 years. 4 weeks. To kill al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, that has now gone woke at the top levels by trying to indoctrinate everyone down to the lowest ranking patriot. But now they have really stepped up their efforts by indicting the 45th president of the United States, who received.
Listen to that, powers that be, House, Senate, whatever. Just listen to that. Okay, you want more of that? You want it amplified? I will, in the same breath, say it's a distractionary method that the mainstream powers that be are happy to have. Both people that hate him and or love him are going to listen to every word and follow this case. All the while, though, the hearings, this TikTok bill, which I'm hearing is another Patriot Act kind of a deal. It's a lot of crap going on behind closed doors, which is why you have to remain vigilant, be passionate about everything that's happening, because this is a first in American history. Just keep your eyes and ears open, please.
What is that? 75 million votes, which is more than any sitting president.
What up, J-Rod? Good to have you, brother. As indelicate as he may be, I'm tired of the lesser of two evils thing. Like, 100% with you. Trust me, when it came down to it, like, this is what kind of forced me, pigeonholed me to look into Trump and inevitably become a supporter. You know, I was not that. I was the blue no matter who, Democrat, liberal, progressive, Bernie Sanders supporter, and I'm lost, and I hate the DNC, and I only see Republicans, a small number of Republicans, actually fighting. Okay.
In the history of our country. And in the wing.
Okay, I just got a link. You know what, Nick? I'm gonna mod you. I don't know you, but I don't have trust issues. Well, I do, but standard moderator. You can send that link right here in the chat if that's okay. Thank you for emailing it. I'd love to see what was said.
They've got a local racist Democrat district attorney in Atlanta who is doing everything in her power to indict me over an absolutely perfect phone call, even more perfect than the one I made with the president of Ukraine. Remember, I kept saying that's a perfect call. This one was more perfect. Nobody said, sir, you shouldn't say that. Many people on the phone were hung up in disgust because of something I inappropriately said, because nothing was said wrong. In fact, at the end of the call, we agreed to.
Got an OG, a best friend, a brother from another mother right there. Tom, good to have you, man. Thank you for the link, by the way. You guys okay with me looking into that right now? I know exactly where to go. I'm gonna hope I have your blessing, guys. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I would very much like to see what was bleeped out there by the most trustworthy news networks in the land, aka the mainstream. So let me get existential here. Let me find myself. Your channel. Let's go to me live. Find myself. You shush. Okay. And let's find the link. Feel free to hit the like button. It's free. Unlike time. All right, J Dubs. Okay, Nick, thank you again, brother. We're going to scope this out in real time, and I want that time back. Donald Trump's actual rumble. Oh, are you kidding? All right, play. Thank goodness. It was at the 7-minute mark. So we're going to get to where we need to get to get to the bottom of this. Player paused. 37. Okay. So what is all this right now? What's going on? Okay, it starts a little later. Why?
Up on energy.
Fridge, man. Okay. Is this the beginning? 20 minutes in? What is all this filler? Okay. All right. I'm going to go right. No doubt, I love this land. I love this land. Yeah.
And we remember the 51 intelligence agents who said Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. It didn't exist. It was Russian disinformation. Remember that? And that was all confirmed strongly by the FBI when they all knew that it wasn't Russian disinformation. And so much more. Our elections were like those of a third world country. And now this massive election interference at a scale never seen before in our country, beginning with the radical left, George Soros.
Is this what was blocked or edited on CNBC? Am I at the right part? The speech starts at 23:21. Okay. Yeah. White Dragon. Risk and reward, man. I think there's a legitimate. Good evening to you, Jessa. I think there's a legitimate grievance that could be made if anybody was to get in trouble with something so public.
Soros-backed prosecutor Alvin Bragg of New York, who campaigned on the fact that he would get President Trump. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. This is a guy campaigning. He wanted to get President Trump at any cost, and this before he knew anything about me, didn't know a thing about me. He was campaigning. As it turns out, virtually everybody that has looked at this case, including rhinos and even hardcore Democrats, say there is no crime and that it should never have been brought. Never have been brought. Everybody. Even people that aren't big fans have said it. They said this is not the right thing to do.
Nick, I'm grateful, sincerely. And just to clarify, this is what was blurted out, and CNBC made it look like they just were a bunch of, I don't know, amateur high school kids filming their first speech. This is what they covered. He names names and mentioned Soros. Oh, mainstream, come on.
It's an insult to our country as the world.
The more the mainstream shows they ain't got the balls, the people that do will flex them harder.
The world is already laughing at us for so many other reasons, like our open borders, our incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan, where we left behind American citizens, $85 billion worth of the best military equipment in the world, lost 13 magnificent young lives, and far too many to mention that are so badly hurt with the loss of arms and legs and facial obliteration. The most embarrassing time in our country's history, in my opinion. Then our give.
It feels like that, you know. So up to this point, I'm in agreement with just about damn near everything he has said. But the jury's still out, literally, for him as well. Okay.
Give up on energy independence and even energy dominance. We're going to be dominant within 6 months, more than any other nation times 2. We had this all just 3 years ago. Our raging crime statistics, if you look in Democrat-run cities, numbers the likes of which we have never seen before.
Way up.
The open threats by various countries.
Remember Mayorkas and how much he was grilled and would not answer yes or no, true or false questions, and his complete lack of knowledge about what's happening at the border when his literal job and job description in his title is what, head border chief? I'm loosely recalling the title, okay, but he didn't even know what the bands were that Ted Cruz had showed him that show these bands represent how much they owe to the cartels. What the hell? You know, what is that? This is the man that's tax funded, and you know, all the lobbyists that fill the back pockets, and that's the guy that's running the show. That was devastating for us as a country to be televised. The Biden administration making us look that stupid and weak.
Of the use of nuclear weapons, something never mentioned or discussed by outside nations during the Trump administration, and which could very well lead under the Biden administration's leadership to an all-out nuclear World War III. Can happen. We're not very far away from it, believe it or not. An economy that has been crippled by the biggest inflation we have seen in more than 60 years, and a military that I used to defeat ISIS in 4 weeks. They said it would take 4 years. 4 weeks. To kill al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, that has now gone woke at the top levels by trying to indoctrinate everyone down to the lowest ranking patriot. But now they have really stepped up their efforts by indicting the 45th president of the United States, who received.
That's just one roomful of his supporters. Okay, I'm just let that stand as its own warning to the powers that be, as I've echoed before. It can get much louder.
75 million votes, which is more than any sitting president in the history of our country. And in the wings, they've got a local racist Democrat district attorney in Atlanta who is doing everything in her power to indict me over an absolutely perfect phone call, even more perfect than the one I made with the president of Ukraine. Remember, I kept saying that's a perfect call. This one was more perfect. Nobody said.
I'm sorry. Did they officially? You guys know better than I, and I wish that wasn't always the case. Have they released any sort of discovery or named the charges? I heard from only Russell Brand in his titling that Trump is facing up to over 100 and some odd years if charged or convicted. So do we need to FOIA for discovery, or I don't know. I haven't gone that far. This is where I'm at.
Sir, you shouldn't say that. Many people on the phone were hung up in disgust because of something I inappropriately said, because nothing was said wrong. In fact, at the end of the call, we agreed to continue our conversation about election fraud, and election fraud specifically in Georgia at a later time. Many people on the phone, including lots of lawyers, nobody found anything wrong with that perfect call until a book promotion tour many months later. All of a sudden they say, I remember Trump making a call. Let's look at that. This fake case was brought only to interfere with the upcoming 2024 election. and it should be dropped immediately.
I am in full agreement that the charges that anybody within the whole politosphere, okay, I'm kind of echoing the stance that Russell Brand has maintained and Jimmy Dore. Nobody at this level of power has the ethics or morality at their back to pursue the charges, whichever they are, and if they are what I believe they are, which is Stormy Daniels and hush money conducted through Michael Cohen, this is not worth it. Is this just to knock him off the chessboard, the checkerboard? I mean, yeah, I have a lot of questions. I'm a natural skeptic here, and I think this is only emboldened and made stronger his base. So dangerous game. Hey, Crystal.
Then you have a radical left lunatic known as a bomb thrower who is harassing hundreds of my people day after day over the boxes hoax. You know, the boxes hoax, as we call it. Just so everyone knows, I come under what's known as the Presidential Records Act, which was designed and approved by Congress long ago just for this reason. Under the act, I'm supposed to negotiate with NARA, the National Archives and Records Administration, which as of this date...
Thank you. See, this is why an open dialogue is so important. Okay, I'm not going to stand here and pretend that I know it all. I don't. I'm learning it with you. So, Nick, again, coming in the clutch, all 34 charges are the same. Falsifying business records. This is, man, this is not the first rodeo for our government and politicians and people in any position of authority and power. Falsifying business records, really? Jesus, what is it? Quote Shakespeare, let me count the ways in terms of how you could go after any other past sitting president. Just about, damn it. Almost going as far back as the founding fathers, sincerely. And
is a radical left troublemaking organization that red flags the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights as dangerous and triggering. Can you imagine? This is what we have to deal with. But there is no criminality under the Presidential Records Act. That is not what it's all about. We were negotiating in very good faith, proper way, in order to return some or all of the documents that I openly and in very plain sight brought with me to Mar-a-Lago from our beautiful White House, just as virtually every other president has done in the past.
And what about, okay, speaking of, what about every leak and document found within the Biden house that was also against protocol, leak against our security? Why isn't the same attention, energy, and charges being applied equally? Consistency. If we're supposed to believe in a system, in law, working for not just rules for thee and not for me, whatever the case, if we're to believe in it, it has to be working on everybody, not just some of us and not just us, or not just the ones that the media cherry picks and says, that's the bad guy, ignore everything else.
When FBI and DOJ officials with NARA were here, I told my
I'm sorry.
Very secure storage room, good faith, proper way, in order to return some or all of the documents that I openly and in very plain sight brought with me to Mar-a-Lago.
Hold on. I think Tracy's making a good point. Again, I appreciate the dialogue here. Well, it's different with the Biden documents. He didn't have the authority to declassify the documents. Trump had the authority to declassify the documents. Thank you for keeping it 100.
From our beautiful White House, just as virtually every other president has done in the past. When FBI and DOJ officials with NARA were here, I told my lawyer to show them the very secure storage room, in which they were locked. The FBI's sole request in writing was, could you please put another lock on the door? We immediately complied. It's a lot different than the Biden situation, isn't it? The next thing I know, we were raided by many gun-toting FBI agents who took whatever they wanted, including my passports and medical records.
See, what this sets a hugely dangerous precedent, right? Couldn't even this serve, like, let's say it's not even the popular case or the status quo to have a grassroots runner become very successful. But hypothetically, would this not be a huge deterrent to anybody that wants to start from the proverbial bottom, even though you're more likely to pull a Bloomberg and just give, I don't know, what was it, $10 million to the DNC and boom, you're in the primaries? So shameful. Yeah, sorry, I just entirely forgot. I'm just so enamored right now. Really, I'm kind of just gazing into this. Like I got no words. I'm so confused at what's happening in our country and all the things happening in the background while we're all rightfully so hyper focused on this case.
Everybody was in shock. Nobody had ever heard of such a raid before. We can't even believe.
And I like that he's openly calling out the FBI. That is somebody I will openly advocate for.
Believe it. Who would think that that could happen today? I immediately thought of the Fourth Amendment that protects against unreasonable search and seizure. But they did it anyway because our justice system has become lawless. They're using it now, in addition to everything else, to win elections. Apparently, they're not looking at me through the view of the Non-Criminal Presidential Records Act. They came up with a new one. This is a new one. And they're looking at me through the Espionage Act. Think of that. How does that sound? Of 1917, where the penalty is death.
Oh,
Even though that has absolutely nothing to do with openly taking boxes of documents and mostly clothing and other things to my home.
this is why I enjoy learning and watching in real time with everybody here, because this is absolutely shocking to me. I'm no smarter than any supporter or viewer, and I'd love your thoughts in real time as they come. Espionage of 1917, and he's facing over 100 years. This does feel surreal, very Twilight Zone kind of vibe here.
Which President Obama has done, the Bushes have done, Jimmy Carter's done, Ronald Reagan has done. Everybody's done. In fact, Hillary Clinton got rid of 33,000 emails, and that was okay.
There we go.
But nobody's done it like Joe Biden. This lunatic special prosecutor named Jack Smith, I wonder what it was prior to a change, who others of his ilk say he is even worse than they are, is only looking at Trump. Yet Joe Biden took massive amounts more documents, even removed many boxes to Chinatown. You believe that? Just got $10 million from China. Where did that come from? I guess they were banking on Hunter's expertise and had others stored in unsecured offices in Pennsylvania and strewn all over his garage floor, where his now very famous Corvette is also stored. All over the floor, including classified documents. But that's okay. Perhaps most importantly, he has 1,850 boxes in Delaware, which he is refusing to give up.
What the?
But isn't that real obstruction? That's obstruction. As president, I have the right to declassify documents, and the process is automatic. If I take them with me, it's automatic. Declassify. Biden was vice president. He had absolutely no right to declassify as vice president. He doesn't come under the Non-Criminal Presidential Records Act. He comes under the very criminal Federal Records Act, unfortunately for him, but it's not going to matter because they don't follow the law, which has very severe penalties. He had classified documents that he took while he was a senator?
I really honestly thought, like, at this stage, I was already saying Trump's too old. We need new blood. I was saying that quite a bit, but also very recently I said I support Trump. Okay. So everything I've heard thus far is calling out the exact hypocrisies that enrage me. I don't think he's the man with every answer, but he certainly seems to be, to me, the best option, the most honest option. And if you want to go as far as the lesser of any evils, I mean, nobody's got a clean, perfect record, I don't think. But by goodness, man, I guess I'll just say it again. I don't see anybody else that I'm willing to support up to whatever the general will be. I'm a little worried about what the primary can or could do, and to fraction his base, the base that I believe is the most impassioned base, the one that seems to care the most about the country and where it's going in all this chaos. So, and my primary concern is them pitting DeSantis and Trump against one another. That's the biggest fraction that I foresee that could do some damage and maybe give leeway to any of the DNC cronies, though we don't know who those will be yet. So, okay.
Which is absolutely inexcusable. And other senators, including Democrats, are outraged. But he's
You don't want to do that, Fox, but thank you. Thank you. Welcome.
not being harassed and hounded like the people who work for me are. In fact, they seem to have forgotten about his documents entirely. So many, thousands and thousands. It's okay with him. They like to say that I'm obstructing, which I'm not, because I was working with NARA very nicely until the raid on my home.
He's obstructing just as much as the Steele dossier infers that he's colluding, which means none.
But Biden is obstructing by making it impossible to get the 1,850 boxes or explain why many documents were located in Chinatown. Can't explain it. Why were they in Chinatown? I don't know. Lastly, I'm under investigation. This time a civil investigation by another racist in reverse, who also campaigned on, I will get Trump. I will get him. This was her campaign. Never ran for office. I will get him. Her name is Letitia James. And she proclaimed while campaigning, quote, I look forward to going into the office of the Attorney General every single day, suing him, and then going home. Just before she knew me. She announced, what is fueling my soul right now is Trump. And that she had her eyes on Trump Tower. Those eyes are focused on Trump Tower. Didn't know the young lady. She even assured her.
I'd like to ask a question, open format. I love the dialogue. This should serve, if anything, I hope, as an example of what you should expect from the actual mainstream or the powers that be. So there's, I think, what was there? At the end of last year, Nick, you've been an awesome contributor here to the dialogue we're having. At the end of last year, I was thinking DeSantis was a good person, but he didn't show any backbone. I can tell you, as a Floridian, I've been very satisfied with a lot of what he's accomplished here. So I'm not perhaps as educated. Whatever you bring to the table, I'm happy to dissect. I'm very happy. I've mentioned this once before, July 1st. He followed through on a lot of his promises, which is a rarity these days. July 1st. Florida will finally no longer require, and I know some people have many different feelings and emotions on this, but I think the Second Amendment takes precedent here. Don't need a concealed carry permit to carry your firearm. I think that's a win for the Second Amendment. I know regulation and all this and that, but I dig it, and that's where I stand. So DeSantis, I am a fan. I'd like him to finish his job in Florida, but I don't want to see them pit these two against each other. Then again, though, I have to do my homework.
Supporters in an election promise that we're going to
Last one, J-Rod. By the way, check out J-Rod's channel, okay? True Crime Aficionado. He brings a real perspective that I think is rare. Check the man's channel out. just doing this to Trump. They doing it to us at the same damn right. Same time, so we seen progress when Trump was on. Yep, with Biden, everything is an absolute chaos. That's facts.
Definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass. He's going to know my name personally. Yeah. And then she claimed that I was an illegitimate president. Think of that. With all we did, with all we did on energy, with all we did on the military, on taxes, biggest tax cuts in history, biggest regulation cuts in history, right to try, people able to get drugs now that aren't approved.
And that's something I was always rooting for when I was a Democrat, for the Democrats to do. And lo and behold, look at who I'm facing that did the thing.
Hopefully you don't have that problem.
That's the thing, J-Rod. I don't want it to come to that. That's too large of a fraction, you know. And the more divided we are, the more that the powers that be will win and laugh all the way to the bank. What do we got? I'm saying that he didn't say. I'm sorry if I misunderstand or misinterpret. When it's live, it's very hard, and I read fast. I am saying that he didn't say any backbone because he could have said that he would do everything to stop the state of New York from getting Trump. I see. Okay, thank you for the clarification. I understand.
Letitia James vowed to use every area of the law to, quote, investigate President Trump and his business transactions. Those transactions are going to be investigated, she said. And that of her family and his family. Because we're going after his family, and we're going after them hard. This is all before entering office and all before knowing anything at all about me, but she was going to get me. This is why, along with unrelenting crime, so many people and companies are leaving New York. She said that I falsified my financial statements, but in fact, we're proving and will prove that my financial statements were substantially more than we submitted, not less.
You know, it's literally physically sickening right now what I'm thinking about. I don't know if you guys have been following along long enough on my multiple videos that cover the Sackler family. The Sackler family is responsible for the great opioid epidemic of our country, globally. They are the reason Oxycontin and Roxy's became they were marketed to children and took numerous lives. Okay, I got 2 pictures of people gone as a direct result of that. It had a huge impact on my life. So I'm saying all this to paint the picture. The Sackler family, that's one of those families that has that FU money, like money that they have so much they don't have to care about a thing. And it's because of them. They spearheaded the entire opioid epidemic movement. Their punishment, when all was said and done, and everybody was put to rest, and still the damage is being done, the only punishment they faced, they didn't even have to do a public apology. They had victim impact statements where the families got to speak to them, protests outside of hearings or whatnot. All that was done. And they filed so many different bankruptcies that they don't have to pay for a thing. Their name was removed from a museum that they contributed to. That's it. The Sackler family. Meanwhile, that's the extent of the long arm of justice. Meanwhile, again, this is the guy that they want to indict. This guy. Do you need any other greater picture of duality and how bass-ackwards everything is currently? It's sickening. It should be. We should all be feeling quite ill and ready to feel a lot better and just get to something more satisfactory and sane.
And in all cases have a strong disclaimer clause in them which tells the institutions that may look at that if they want to, not to rely on the statement. But they've got a problem with their case because, number one, I'm very underleveraged. They can't believe it, all the stuff they read and gave, and have very little debt relative to the value of assets. And importantly, not one bank has lost even $1. She was investigating me to save banks. They have very good lawyers. But they didn't lose a dollar with us during this period of time. In fact, the banks we're talking about made almost $200 million off Donald Trump, and they liked me very much. We never missed a payment, never got a default notice, had a great relationship with all of them. I don't need banks. They have a lot of cash. I built a great business with my family, built a fantastic business.
And epically pointed out to Hillary Rodham Clinton during the great debates that he simply learned how to utilize the very systems put in place by our broken government. And he brought that to the table for us when he was our president. Watch. Trevor Noah or Daily Show, whoever's running the show over there right now, they're gonna do a whole segment. As I recall, back when Trump was running, back in the day, they did a whole segment on how he drinks his water. That's gonna be groundbreaking news.
I have a son here who's done a great job, and I have another son here who's done a great job.
I mean, hell, it's already a win, Trump, when you get to point and say, I have a great son that's done so-and-so accomplishments when it's not Hunter Biden sitting in the front row. So, you had it there. You had the W there.
Tiffany. And Ivanka and Barron will be great someday. He's tall. He is tall, and he's smart. But I have a great family, and they've done a fantastic job, and we appreciate it very much. They've gone through hell. So she's suing me over banks that weren't defrauded, when she should be focused on violent crime that's driving people out of the state.
I want to hear more about Missouri suing the Biden administration. More on that later.
This is a persecution, not an investigation. She's put our family through hell. It's cost hundreds of millions of dollars to defend, but our heads are held very, very high. They want to settle the case, but I want no part of that.
I'm proud to hear that.
So here we are now. It's where we were today, in a city that was so great just 4 or 5 years ago. But now we're there. Spend time there today, as you possibly read, with a local failed district attorney charging a former president of the United States for the first time in history on a basis that every single pundit and legal analyst said, there is no case. There's no case. They kept saying, there's no case.
The witch hunt was happening before he ran. Then when the mainstream realized he was being taken actually seriously, the witch hunt increased in aggression. And then we have our Steele dossier, and the witch hunt just never ended. Look at the amount of effort. This is why his base will remain just as impassioned as now I am becoming, watching him constantly, effortlessly fight his fight. It just seems to be every time they go after him, it's on something completely phony, for lack of a better term here. So yeah, I'm going to side with the guy that the mainstream, that our power structure is trying to make me believe with all of my heart is the bad guy. Yeah, I learned pretty early on how that works.
Virtually everyone. But it's far worse than that, because he knew there was no case. That's why last week he delayed for a month and then immediately took that back and threw this ridiculous indictment together. Came out today, everybody said, this is not really an indictment. There's nothing here. My lawyers came to me and they said, there's nothing here. They're not even saying what you did. The criminal is the district attorney because he illegally leaked massive amounts of grand jury information.
What about Michael Cohen? What happened?
For which he should be prosecuted, or at a minimum, he should resign. And Alvin Bragg's wife confirmed a report that claimed her husband has Trump nailed on felonies. She has since locked down her Twitter account. His chief prosecutor, who represented the Democrats and crooked Hillary Clinton in a firm run by Chuck Schumer's brother, Robert, he quit the firm in order to go to work in the DA office in order to get Trump. Can you imagine that? Hillary Clinton's lawyer, Democrat firm. Ultimately,
oh my God, I didn't know any of this. They couldn't make it any more clear, plain as day, how politically motivated this is. It's not about the truth. It has nothing to do with the truth or the facts. It has to do with trying to legally railroad this man off of the ticket. That's all it ever is. I don't even know. I think I'm going to assume that the people that want to put him away so bad know they don't have anything that'll stick. They know that. They're just hoping that there's enough damage done in the process that he will not be a viable threat and will somehow not be allowed to be on the ticket. But man, I'm beyond beginning to think. I think they're in for a rude awakening. And I was, when things were quieting down briefly, thinking Trump's just, too old. We need some new blood. Yeah. Clearly, I will never say I'm a MAGA man, but as a voter, this is the guy I intend to vote for, despite his age. And I'm aware of his age. Isn't he just like the same age as Biden, or like 2 years apart? He's got his capacities. This is what I would talk about on Stuck in the Middle with Josh too, about his age.
Quit as chief prosecutor because Bragg didn't think he had a case. Think of the same guy that brought this ridiculous thing today.
Okay. Precisely, White Dragon. This is what Russell Brand is saying time and time again. I'm going to read White Dragon's quote here. My issue is there are others that have done the same and more, so worse than Trump. Exactly. COVID, flight logs, spirit cooking, which is just a strange area to go, but DNC relation, Clinton relation there, trafficking, Biden, Hunter Biden with his literal alleged human trafficking. Taking prostitutes from country to country is trafficking. And I mean, you just say the name Hunter Biden, nothing need to be said more. Sorry. And they go free to keep doing things against the citizens, but they want Trump to just go away. Now that's what they want democracy to be. They are trying to redefine democracy to fit their cherry-picking selective outrage nonsense.
Yet during his investigation, this prosecutor named Mark Pomerantz wrote and published a book saying all sorts of privileged things and has been very strongly reprimanded. He was reprimanded so strongly. I've never seen anything like it. That's probably the end of it. But what he did was probably very illegal, but he was very, very strongly reprimanded. Even District Attorney Bragg was furious with him. They were having a tremendous fight in the office because of it. But hope is never lost because various prosecutors in the DA's office also quit because they thought President Trump was being treated very unfairly. How about that? Isn't that great? Oh, I love them. I'd like to meet them.
I think he's actually getting better at speaking as far as I'm seeing based on this and the rally I saw when he was in Ohio.
The DA's office even had a webpage. Meet the team of executives who have done this to President Trump. That was the title. Isn't that nice? They immediately had to take it down. Meanwhile, overall crime in New York was up 30% last year. Much more than that the year before, with felony assaults, robberies, and burglaries all up by massive, massive numbers. Not the same place that I know, not the same place that you know. And this is where we are right now. I have a Trump-hating judge with a Trump-hating wife.
Okay, so this is where my friend and customer of Cuban, he comes from Cuba. He was such a MAGA fiend for 3 years that I've been serving him. And it's today, because he told me today, whatever he's about to say, this specific line from here to wherever it leads about the judge and his wife is the reason why this diehard Trump fan has ceased to be a supporter. So let me start it just a couple seconds back and get a full grasp.
Year, much more than that the year before, with felony assaults, robberies, and burglaries all up by massive, massive numbers. Not the same place that I know, not the same place that you know. And this is where we are right now. I have a Trump-hating judge with a Trump-hating wife and family whose daughter worked for Kamala Harris and now receives money from the Biden-Harris campaign. Now,
how is that not worth mentioning? What is my buddy talking about here? Okay, the daughter works for Kamala Harris, and there's no, like, I understand it's the daughter, it's not the judge himself working for Kamala Harris. There isn't some sort of like obvious conflict of interest here. Wouldn't that be enough to make someone appear not impartial? I have to talk to my buddy here. I can't wait to see him again.
And a lot of it. We recently had another trial, and the same judge told the fine man who worked for me for many, many years that if you admit your guilt, you will be in jail for 90 days. But if you don't, if we go through a trial and you're found guilty, you're going away for 10 years and maybe longer, which for a 75-year-old man with a great family really means life. What the prosecutors and judge did to that man, I will never forget, because it's right out of the old Soviet Union. That's where we are. They said, you say anything about Trump, meaning that's bad, and you won't even have to serve the 90 days. You'll walk free. And they say that to many of my employees. We have this Jack Smith lunatic threatening people every single day through his representatives. They're threatening jail terms. But talk about Trump and you'll go free. This is where we are as a nation. Who would have thought? They can't beat us at the ballot box, so they try and beat us through the law. That's the country in which we live, however, right now. The USA.
It's like, losing a fight in the ring and then, take it out on the street, essentially.
Is a mess. Our economy is crashing. Inflation is out of control. Russia has joined with China. Can you believe that? Saudi Arabia has joined with Iran. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea have formed together as a menacing and destructive coalition. Would have never happened if I were your president. Would never have happened. Nor would Russia attacking Ukraine have happened. All of those lives would be saved. All of those beautiful cities would be standing. Our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat, frankly, in 200 years. There will be no defeat like that. That will take us away from being even a great power. If you took the 5 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done.
I got you. Nick, I'm going to be sending you, I'm going to respond to the email you sent me with some contact info. And by the way, I will be hosting an open panel near the weekend where everybody's invited. We need to pick some topics. I might have some polls. We'll figure it out, but we need some voices that are not afraid to be heard. And we need to have ourselves a good old-fashioned discourse. And when J-Rod and I do work together and collaborate, I'm looking forward to maybe it'll be refreshing to not always be so invested in the politics, even though that's a part of my DNA, but looking into true crime, putting the mind to work on something else. But okay, moving on. That's about the future. Here's the present, which is also, ironically, about the future.
Incredibly, we are now a failing nation. We are a nation in decline. And now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement. We can't let that happen. With all of this being said, and with a very dark cloud over our beloved country, I have no doubt, nevertheless, that we will make America great again. Thank you very much. And God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
My Cuban friend, I'm completely shocked. I'm almost kind of speechless that is what he took issue with. Who would not, if they know who those that are trying to come after them or put you away, if you knew that there was some sort of vetted interest in putting you away specifically, and that, imagine if your judge was related to somebody or had a son or daughter that works for literally your opposition. That is, as J Rod said in the comments, conflict of interest 101. I think that's solid evidence of a complete impossibility of appealing impartial. And that, I don't know if that's enough to throw it away or at least get the judge swapped out, but very confusing. All right, give me a moment here. I wanted to show you guys something else because it's also, ironically, something I learned. Let's close that what was it, CNBC Live with that little, what was it, 3 minutes of muting us and trying to play it off. They really, really think we're stupid. And somebody did send me a little video about the TikToks banning, which I'm not a fan of TikTok, but apparently it's massive overreach and all in the name of it's Patriot Act 2.0. All right, so some prominent Russian blogger was unalived in St. Petersburg bombing. So I just wanted to get a brief assessment and understanding of this. And, this is the thing with going live. Okay, I take the risk. I know nothing about this except that it happened. And I wanted to just get a better understanding of this. It's the highest profile ending of a supporter of Russia's war in. Okay, this happened in Ukraine. This weekend, a pro-war blogger expired in an explosion at a cafe in St. Petersburg. Russian authorities blamed Ukraine and have arrested an anti-war activist. But as Nick Schifrin reports, the cafe's owner, a well-known Putin ally, says the plot is thicker. Full transcript, I see. It's the highest. Okay. Hold on, let me skip around a little bit. In front of his own photo, Vladimir Taraski accepted his Trojan horse, a bust of himself. Moments after this was filmed. Oh, I get it. Wow. That's how they got him. The bust exploded and destroyed the cafe, leaving him gone in a mangled mess. So this guy was a well-known blogger, an advocate for Russia's stance against Ukraine. Okay, we will defeat everyone. We will end everyone. We will take everything we need. Okay, yeah. So the man had a strong opinion. St. Petersburg, though, I'm just unclear. Let me see. Let me briefly check the comments. This is not the topic I wanted to stick on too long. Oh, word? Yo, J-Rod, I'm absolutely down. If you'd like to read the entire set. Thank Nick, you've been so helpful, bro. You're a G, man. All right, let me just see, because I just wanted to understand. Okay, prolific, one of the most, yeah, okay, blogger, get it. He was pro-Russia, get it. So why was this brought to my attention? Okay, St. Petersburg, he was kind of becoming like a cafe influencer. That's why the street food #1 restaurant was hit. Essentially, I can't say that name, Yevgeny Prigozhin had given it to the guy who was ended as kind of like a headquarters for this cultural move of ultra-nationalist pro-war sentiment to be mobilized. not just on media channels, but also in real life. Okay. So the restaurant at 5 blocks, not even 3 blocks from Evgeny Prison's first high style restaurant. Where? Like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to reveal my stupid here. St. Petersburg. That is that. Let me see before is that out there somewhere? How far? Is there a St. Petersburg over in Russia, or did this happen, you know, on our end? Like, I'm just going to be transparent. I don't know, and I want to know if this happened on our soil. And I'm thinking not. Oh, and this is the transcript I'm reading right now, which shows why I'm so confused. This is foreign affairs, so this did not happen on U.S. soil. Okay, so at the risk of showing that yes, I don't know it all. I'm human and I'm learning in real time. We're freestyling life. Okay, there ain't no script. I just really wanted to understand where this happened. So thank you for any feedback on the issue. A smaller YouTuber was brought to my attention, and I'm going to do what I can to build up any voice that we need. Voices. We need a collection of voices. We need the passion for the fight at hand that's right around the corner. And right now, thank you, White Dragon. So I'm sure I appeared pretty, silly, but yeah, I did. Obviously, I wanted to clarify because what I was sent, it muddied the waters a little bit and made it seem like it happened on our side, which had me like going all kinds of crazy and getting very worried. So this is cathartic and educational. That's the old capital of the old Russia. Okay. Oh, let me check if Hunter's still chilling here, smoking the that glass. Oh, jeez. Yeah, okay. He trafficked himself into my closet and he won't come out. Think of this like South Park's rendition of R. Kelly and Tom Cruise trapped in the closet. Old school reference if you're not familiar. But I guess okay, well, here's how I usually do my unconventional ending. Karscar, White Dragon, Nick, dude, Nick, you're a rock star today. The new bill is the Restricted Act. Worse than the Patriot Act? No kidding. Okay, real quick before I do this, okay, I do have a little something here. Let me see this back and forth. It's a very brief clip. Maybe it can assess and explain the far-reaching implications. I took the screen off. I apologize. The far-reaching implications here of what this. See, I love it. This is what they do. Just like the "Don't Say Gay" bill has nothing to do. Literally, it has nothing to do with not being allowed to say gay or not. All it is having, teachers not having the right to talk about sex with young children in schools. That's what it's about. But then you see how it goes. The powers that be, the media, the not even the lawmakers, they use these misleading titles, and then we willfully hand over our freedoms, just like we did during COVID. So let me see. And there's probably going to be a brief advertisement.
Let's try to get some answers out of the Senator Lindsey Graham, who supports this and is here now. You got to be kidding me, Senator.
Whoa. Lindsey Graham supports this. Why? Because it says TikTok? Help me understand.
Yeah, I don't think I support the Restrict Act.
You don't support this because you were named as one of the supporters, because this is garbage.
Well, is this the one with John? There's two bills out there. One allows a review.
I think that already I'm seeing a seed of misdirection. They're trying to already things are not clear. It's literally just as blurry as that screen right there. And now there's two separate bills with the same goal. Come on. California leads blue state. I don't care about California. Never will. Okay, let me try to stick to the topic at hand. I get a little amped up. Jeez H. Okay. Damn it, the Clintons are messing with my internet again. Hunter, get the Wi-Fi on, son. Turn your laptop off for a second. Yeah, okay. All right, come on. I do apologize for the brief issues.
Let's try to get some answers out of the Senator Lindsey Graham, who supports this and is here now. You got to be kidding me, Senator. Did you read this?
Yeah, I don't think I support the Restrict Act.
You don't support this because you were named as one of the supporters, because this is garbage.
Well, is this the one where there's two bills out there? One allows a review of businesses that are connected to China, give the secretary the ability to protect our data. Is
I don't
that
like
the
this one.
Restrict Act?
I don't like
We
his book at
got
all.
S686 right here,
Yeah.
March 7th.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a bunch of Republicans supporting it because this thing is crazy town. You don't want
Yeah.
the government looking into your private phone.
No, I don't.
If
And
they have a
can't.
hunch you're colluding with the Russians, we remember how that turned
that's
out.
Right. Yeah, no, well, the Constitution trumps a statute. So let me come back and, give you a better explanation. Here's the problem as I see it. China is the parent company of TikTok. And my nieces like TikTok. I don't mind them using TikTok. I just don't want the Chinese government to seize all their data and manipulate the information America sees for political purposes. China is helping drug cartels in Mexico. China is not a friend. Chinese espionage is an all-time high against American business interests. So I want to push back against China, but within a constitutional framework. You're right about that.
So obvious.
You made these allegations, and I'll come answer better next time.
Yeah, well, I mean, because on
Allegations?
Congress.gov, you're listed as one of the co-sponsors of this thing. Maybe it's like Fetterman when your chief of staff
Could
does
be.
all your work for
Could
you.
be.
But Senator, you got to go back and talk to these other senators about this. This thing is nuts, and it's going to get abused like it always does. So we got to clean this up. Can we clean this up?
Well, yeah. I mean, number one, I owe you a better explanation I'm giving you.
This is bizarre.
John Thune's got a bill to make sure the Secretary of Commerce can deal with this, not just TikTok, but the general idea that we're under attack by China. Now, that's a fact. Chinese Communist Party is stealing American data. Espionage against American businesses is an all-time high. According to the FBI, it's the number one challenge they face. China is providing drug precursors to make fentanyl in Mexico that's killing Americans. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to push back against China being able to steal your data.
Shut up.
I want to do it in a constitutionally sound manner.
So
the problem is real with China, but the solution can be more damaging than the problem.
I agree.
Is sort of what you're telling me.
Don't
That's
push
what you're
back
telling me.
on the United States citizens.
Yeah, no, I
for
understand what
something
you're saying.
China's doing. All
No,
right.
I totally get that. And constitutionally, we can't do all the things you just said. So let me get back with you, but let me just
get back with me because you co-sponsored it 2 days ago.
Okay.
Senator.
All right. Yep. See, makes me look bad. I don't know a better explanation.
All right.
My bad. But I will say this about China. China is really a threat to America at multiple levels. The fentanyl coming in from Mexico, they have a direct link to that. It's coming out of China. I want to make Mexican drug cartels foreign terrorist organizations. I want to protect American data from Chinese manipulation by the Communist Party. That's my intent. And if this bill doesn't, if it goes beyond that, I'll come on your show and say, my bad.
All right. Well, it goes way beyond that, but we like the other bill you're behind about designating the terrorists out there in Mexico.
Yeah,
I like that. All right. Thank you very much, Senator. We appreciate it.
Get me off this thing now. Okay. All right. Wow. That was a huge line of bullshit. That was a politician trying to save face, being called out. He is not an ally. He is not a friend. He is clearly, man, he's a co-sponsor of the bill, and he just pretended to not know why his name is there. Plain sight, man. Hiding in plain sight. I'm glad. People like to crap on Fox News, and they are, to me, they are absolutely a part of the mainstream structure. No question. This, though, that little segment was journalism done right. Somebody who is of the constituency of the party spoke to the representative, called him out, and now he's going to come back on and say, my bad, my overreach, I superseded what was constitutionally allowed. I mean, your allegations, nothing was an allegation that was laid forward. Okay, these were all and still are facts until we get a further update on this TikTok ban, and that's going to be the damn term. And I fear people aren't going to look into it well enough to look beyond the smoke and mirrors and see what they're really agreeing to. This is another thing you got to keep there's a lot to keep up with right now, guys. Okay, they're looking into the COVID origin. They're looking at vaccine side effects. They're looking into the censorship of social media. Handed over to the Debbie Wasserman Schultz is attacking the guy Libby. I wrote his name down. I have a whole bunch of content that I want to share with you, the people, we the people. And I'm tempted to open it up now, but I think I've been on longer than I intended. This is an honor. It's a pleasure to have all of you with me. Thank you so much. You guys are, you're the lifeline here. And together, it's not about, I don't want to sound like somebody else just came to mind, okay? This is an effort. It's together. Our dialogue and information, our individual thinking is the only thing that's effective. It's not a hive mind. It's not a bunch of people that think alike and agree alike that make us powerful. It's that through true independent thinking and coming to either compromise or agreement and an understanding to be on the same page and truly to represent that unity, that is what is considered dangerous by the structure, by the system, by the powers that be. And if we want to avoid 1984 part 2, well, it starts right here, right with you. I'm just a vessel. I have the microphone and the cam. Any and all of you, please do your part and keep your eye on the prize. Once again, treat yourselves as if you were a garden. Tend to yourself, make sure that mental health first, and then tend to your neighbor. Okay, don't be disconnected, and just let's keep on vigilantly watching what's going down in this country. Y'all take care. Queen, my guardian angel, J Rod, till we meet again, sir. Cindy D, my son's life mattered. Karscar, my OG brother. Nick, you're a rock star. White Dragon. Anybody that I missed, I'm gonna do a quick little. Okay, I think I just about got everybody that I could. All right, much love. Peace out, guys. We going tonight.